All right, Commissioner, meeting is live.
Okay. I call this May 30th meeting of the Riley County Commission to order. Please, everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Leave for a week and we come back and we've got a full house this morning. We need to take more time off, it appears. So
They all came to see us.
I know, right?
Can I get a second to Commissioner Ford's motion there? One time off?
That just meant from commission meetings. Time off. I guess I better clarify that. Okay, well, we're gonna start off with some public comments, and I think we've got something to start with here, don't we? Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Shannon Sterling with Riley County Reach Committee. Today I'm here to award the Employee of the Month for June 2024. Callie is in her first year at the Appraiser's office, and she has been an incredibly hard worker from the day she started. She was a fast learner, jumping right into a large, confusing mobile project. Callie is excellent with customers and is an amazing coworker who quickly became a friend. She is eager to learn and always ready to help in whatever she can. Callie is an asset to our office. This appeal season was her first, and she had the responsibility of making sure the property owners were sent the documentation on the properties they were appealing. This is a huge responsibility to take on, answering calls and making sure everything was sent correctly, especially for someone on their first appeal season. We like to say, good job, Kelly. We'd like to come accept the Employee of the Month. Over it.
I was giving you the opportunity.
We typically ask you to recite the Gettysburg Address. So,
That's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
1, 2, 3. More 1, 2, 3. Great! Congratulations!
Congratulations! Enjoy those tickets.
No, I didn't.
Okay, do we have any other public comments this morning? That's it. I see some other people here. Any public comments from the back? I'm going to say no. Okay. Well, we're going to move on to commissioner comments this morning. We'll start off with Commissioner McKinney.
All right. Good week, but Tuesday was our meeting with PHS to review progress on the new EMS building. We're building up the site earthwork right now, and they do have a few change orders that says that will be coming to us, but the total cost is still covered by contingency. There's nothing, any major thing. One change is extending the contract date because the contract said they'd start this date and we didn't get a permit until a month later.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not anything they did, just delay this permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, then Tuesday evening, I attended Riley City Council meeting. They didn't have any big thing. The main thing, new trash contract. That always is a big thing to get going through, and got that settled.
That's a big deal when you don't have trash, though. It becomes a big deal.
Yeah, when it starts stacking up in the streets, it gets a little problem. So yeah, it is necessary. And David Adams has been working with Schultz to get a few things that have come up on the Hunterville station. And then I spent some time getting stuff ready for you guys for what's been going on at the detention center. That's what this stack is. Oh boy, that's
Exciting.
because this Yeah, it's the last time. Like I say, this was one letter, but it's been going on since September last year. I brought along everything in case how much you guys want to hear about it. Other than that, that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah. We're gonna have fun at the end of the meeting, it sounds like.
It does.
Commissioner.
Just looks like a short agenda.
Well, I kind of forgot about it this week, but anyway. Sunday, I did visit the Sunrise Cemetery, visiting personal and other grave sites, had a chance to visit with some people, so that was good. Then Monday night, I attended the Memorial Day concert at the park, featuring the municipal band. It was the first concert of the season, which is excellent. It had some guest conductors, and Frank Trask from conducts that. So it was really a lot of people. It was good. And that was the first concert of the season, which continues on Tuesday nights at 7:30 at the band show. So it's a good one to attend. Tuesday spent some time reviewing information on the Keats Lagoon project. So we'll go to the community members this week, trying to keep them informed on things that are happening with the permitting process. I made some suggestions along with Vivian and Brian Foster, and should be going on, I think, today. So if you want to see it, we'll get your copy. Wednesday, I did go to the Kansas City Airport to pick up my daughter, who's visiting for a week. That's always a treat to go down there. She's sit in the cell lot for a while, and then you go back, you go into the terminal, but it wasn't as busy as it's been other times. Then later yesterday, I reviewed the agenda and documents for today's meeting and visited a lot with my daughter. That's it for me.
Yeah, it's been a week. It went by kind of fast, actually. Well, I wanted to start off by saying hopefully everybody had a wonderful and eventful Memorial Day holiday weekend for the extra day off. Weather was pretty nice over the weekend, so get out and do whatever you needed to do. Thursday afternoon, I did make it up to Fort Riley and pick up my new AIE, the automatic installation entry pass. I mentioned this just because going up there to get that done, you'd think it would be terribly hard to do, but it's not. I go in there and it's a quick, painless process. Everybody up there is really easy to work with and nice and friendly, and sat there chatting with everybody while they were printing it off, and done and good for a year. So Thursday, I met virtually with our on-call nutritionist up at the Stormont Vale. Just trying to get a fresh perspective on some things and just trying to change up some stuff. There might be more to come on that one later. I don't know. It's the whole thing's just goofy at this point in time. Friday, I met with our new deputy county counselor sitting in the back there, Brian Parker. Had a really good dialogue on numerous topics, and I really enjoyed the time. I thought it went very well. So appreciate you taking time to meet and chat with me, and look forward to working with you moving forward. The weekend overall for me was pretty quiet. I prefer quiet these days, to be totally honest with you. Enjoyed getting another over 3 inches of rain Saturday night. That surprised me.
Me too.
Woke up and everything was wet, and I looked at the rain gauge and I said, damn. Eventually it's going to dry out, I would assume, but who knows? Maybe this is going to be one of those years where it's wet again, like 19. I hope not, but we'll see. It's looking like it's going to rain today too, so we'll see. Yeah, Saturday I managed to sneak out and went down to St. Joseph's Church. I forgot they had an open house, so I missed that. They were just packing up and finishing up when I wanted to go down and check out the gravestones. It's been about 3.5 weeks or so since we did that meeting. Wow, I mean, they look brand new almost. It's insane. I thought maybe I needed to maybe touch them up or clean them up, and I don't think I'll ever have to touch them again, to be honest with you. They look brand new. I could see how people get addicted to cleaning those. Like I see on YouTube and TikTok and stuff, they got some, webinars and stuff on there, people cleaning old stones. And I can see how people can get addicted to doing that. I'm not going to be one that does that because, one, I don't have time, and now two, kind of a little creepy, I don't know. But anyway, power to the people that are doing that. That's perfectly fine. It's just not going to be my thing. So I took care of the ones I needed to take care of, and we're good. Monday, I spent Memorial Day at the annual First Infantry Division of Fort Riley Memorial Day observance at the Post Cemetery. Colonel Terry Tillis, the First Infantry Division Deputy Commanding Officer, spoke in honor of those men and women who died while serving our country as armed services. After his remark, he and the Sergeant Command Major of the First Armored Brigade Combat Team, boy, that's a long title, Donald Collier, placed that wreath in honor of those serving and who also made the ultimate sacrifice. There was also a 21 gun salute during the ceremony and a full raising of the flag at noon as allowed on Memorial Day. A pretty well attended event. Boy Scouts over in Junction City, that a couple of days prior put out over 4,100 flags on each of the gravestones. Absolutely amazing. So props to them for that. Tuesday, I attended via Zoom the monthly board meeting of Pawnee Mental Health. I unfortunately missed the finance committee meeting I didn't get an invite to that or something, or missed it. I don't know. That's on me. Some of the items discussed at the board meeting were an official introduction to the new chief financial officer, Lindsay Miller. I guess I stole her from the city of Junction City. Yeah, that introduction was made. We passed the minutes from the March meeting. We didn't have an April meeting because they kind of combined that with the annual meeting that they had up in the Clay Center. Of course, we were down in Pittsburgh, so I didn't make that. I heard a chief executive officer's report from the new CEO, Michael Riskella, marketing and development report from Di Hendricks, finance oversight committee gave a review of the March finances. Like I said, I missed that meeting, so wasn't part of that. The business included passing business insurance policy for the fiscal year 25. Passing delegation of authority to approve expenditures for Pawnee Mental Health to the new chief financial officer. And then lastly, there was an executive session deal with matters of non-elected personnel. Lastly, I just wanted to end on a good note. Congratulations, K-State baseball team, making the NCAA regional tournament for the first time in 11 years. Not going to be easy. Third seed in the Fayetteville. Arkansas is the fifth overall national seed. So it's going to be pretty tough to get probably out of that regional, but at least they're making progress. And it's 11 years. I mean, with the new coach and stuff, it was about time. They got a pretty good team, but thought maybe they peaked a little early this year and kind of fell off towards the end, but they snuck in. So good for them. Hope they do well. They'll be playing tomorrow night at 7. So with that, that's all I got.
Ready for business, commissioners?
Sure am.
Need a motion for a signature on the application for new rural water district number 1 water tower.
You know, it's amazing how difficult this stuff is.
It just takes forever. It just,
Well, I just, the fact they have to come to us and use property to put up a water tower for expansion of water.
That's a big one. So.
It's just like other issues we're dealing with. I mean,
Yeah,
energy is just as important as water.
Exactly.
If you don't have energy, you don't have water.
Exactly.
You got that issue coming too, by the way.
I know. And gas and sewer,
oh, yeah,
the whole 9
lots of
yards.
stuff.
It's incredible. I
Infrastructure.
just, it's baffling, but it
And
is
then
what
you
it
talk
is.
about broadband too, on top of all that.
That's the one we're actually winning, to be honest with you. We're actually making strides on that one, but all the other ones they just hit dead walls. That's crazy. I don't know. I
Well,
was thinking about that a lot over the weekend, and I am glad that we're able to work something out and help, but people need to realize in order to get this stuff and have this stuff, it's got to go someplace. It just does. So
I think you see that's probably why the laws are that, that's one of the few things where you can inflict eminent domain for things like this because of how difficult it is. And it does serve the greater public, not just the individuals that are opposing it. So I can understand as a landowner, I wouldn't be thrilled about it. But you got to think of the entire community.
Well, this one's the one of the public works. Right?
Correct.
So it's
Mhm.
not as invasive as some of these things can be.
No, the point was they couldn't find any private that was willing to sell. That's the
Yeah.
point, yeah.
Well,
Or
yeah,
lease, or just work something out. where,
something not.
I mean, this capacity is gonna serve the greater part of North Riley County.
Including everyone that
And
was
the last time I
asked.
checked, humans need water to survive. Last time I checked anyway.
And so,
Maybe AI changes that or something, I don't know. But,
yeah,
Well, it's a good thing that we have the proper.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, pun intended, and say that's probably not gonna happen, but anyway,
Okay,
that's my
well,
soapbox.
I make a motion to sign the application to commence the application process for special use authorization for a 300,000 gallon water tower with rural water district number 1 is the applicant.
Second,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the application to commence the application process for a special use authorization for a 300,000 gallon water tower with rural water district 1 as the applicant. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair, please sign. Robert.
Can I get that?
Hmm?
Can I get that application from you later?
Yep, Cindy will have it. Thank you.
Where am I signing that? Where it says owner?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're adjacent to the little sticky.
You get to own a water tower?
That's cool.
300,000 gallon?
Yeah.
You get to repair it also.
My lucky.
Yeah, you get those calls late at night about repairing it.
They generally don't need repaired at the bottom rung.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in that case, I do get to put whatever I want on the water tower, right? In terms of artwork.
I'm sure
If it's mine.
if you're willing to fund it, I'm sure
That's
they're
pretty
willing
cool.
to entertain it.
Okay.
Get the Kansas Arts
You could
Committee.
do a really cool power cat with some
Yeah.
K-State stuff on there.
Cool stuff.
I was thinking a big sunflower.
Paint it early in the morning. It'll be a lot easier.
I'm not climbing up there to paint it, but I have ideas.
Well, you're
That's
the owner.
You're the owner, you gotta maintain it, let alone paint it.
That's amazing to see the people that put these murals up. They have these huge scaffolds and they hang upside down and do all sorts of things. It's just.
I tell you, one that I was impressed with, just last week, I had to go to election training in Salina. There's old grain belt elevators on the south side of town. Someone did a mural on there. It's just kind of black and white, but it is amazing. And it is huge. It's on a grain elevator, a full size grain, and it is impressive. It looks really
south
good.
part of.
Yeah, one of those old grain elevators. It is
I've
impressive.
always wondered how.
Nice and neatly done. You know, it's not something you can't understand when you look at it. You know, it's
Every time
really
the Capitol
nice.
did that one.
Yes.
With that, didn't
Well,
take
they got
long
rid of it on
scaffolding
the
back in
backside of Dillon's.
1700s.
I noticed that.
Oh, no, okay.
What time are people asking?
Chicken and no, she didn't exist then.
It's like the explanation, and you
Yeah,
had to
it's so
really
good.
stand there and look at it to really.
I like the chicken and egg one on the back of the building
Oh,
over
that's
here.
good.
I think
That's a
that's
good
pretty
one.
cool.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's on the back of the old Crumbs building,
Mhm.
the gray
Oh,
building they
that's-
just redone.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, drive down this road and
It's really
look on the
cool.
backside. It's really nice.
Chicken with a big egg, it's cracked.
Uh-huh. Next, commissioners need a motion to appoint Jennifer Hancock, Rob Peterman, and Steve Altabello to the Road and Bridge Advisory Board, sign letters, approved resolutions.
I moved to appoint Jennifer Hancock, Robert Peterman, and Steve Alpinbello to the Road and Bridge Advisory Board, approve resolution 053024, appointing representatives to the Road and Bridge Advisory Board.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Jennifer Hancock, Robert Peterman, and Steve Altabello to the Road and Bridge Advisory Board and approve resolution number 053024, resolution appointing representatives to the Road and Bridge Advisory Board. All in favor?
Aye.
All three, please sign.
Of course, John's not here. Okay. As I say, now we get on it.
The good thing is we have some money to do it with
Yes.
and not increase ad valorem taxes.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, though, I was thinking about this over the weekend too. It's not gonna be too long out that we need to start considering redoing that. Just running Yeah. Well, the legislature has talked about redoing those statutes and moving them to 10 years.
See,
Someone will have to look at redoing
Yeah.
it. See.
yeah. That'd be somebody else's problem.
That's you.
They're,
Taking notes.
they're not gonna move that fast.
And you, Brittany.
Congratulations.
It's fine. We already worked all together, figuring it out.
Glad to hear that. Okay. Oh. Got the paper from Public Works, I said.
They're the only ones that can afford it.
Make some budgetary changes.
We haven't approved this budget yet.
That's right.
You. Next, commissioners have Riley County Employee Action Form, Abby Barr Donnelly, new hire, WIC dietitian, Health Department. All three signed, please. Any items for the county officials luncheon commissioners?
On the 10th, right? June. Okay.
Well, we should probably continue discussion about some space issues.
Yeah, probably continuation of March, strategic planning, budget, since we're in the midst of that.
Mhm.
And I think I got with Cindy already, but I'll go and tell you, let's do McAllister's instead of AJ's. Just change of pace.
Yeah, we got that
Okay.
message to her. Mhm.
See budget, strategic planning, and what else? Facilities.
Yeah.
Space, I think it's space and
Yeah.
space issues.
Facilities / space. That's
Works for me.
and
So hope we spell it right.
no,
No.
it'll be close.
Well, hopefully
You'll be able to tell what
I have your handwriting. Hopefully you can read it right first, much less spell it.
it's so cruel.
I can't comment on that one, so.
The numbers will be right, though. We
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
They'll be
We'll have somebody
in a range.
double check that.
Did you ask, is Bryant better at numbers?
I know he's better at them.
Okay.
He's not agreeing nor denying, so
I'm just remaining silent in the back.
that might be smart.
See, ever the diplomat.
Quiet observer of the day.
Next, commissioners, I need a motion to approve payroll and accounts payable.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve payroll and accounts payable.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve payroll and accounts payable. All in favor?
Aye.
All three sign, please. Of the minutes of commissioners.
and changes.
I actually didn't flip those over, so I'll just go with it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I missed those.
I didn't see any issues.
I move to approve the minutes of the May 23rd meeting. That was-
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the May 23rd meeting of the Riley County Commission as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Tentative agendas look okay, commissioners?
Sign on the top line, John.
Any items? Any items for next week's press conference?
I don't think anybody's gonna worry about it as long as they get a paycheck.
No issues for me on the press conference.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Okay, commissioners, next you have Mr. Holman, 9:00.
I'll try to surprise you one of these days. I keep saying, I've been saying it for 5 years, but
Generally, people are pretty good about signing up for topics. It was like pulling teeth when commissioners first implemented it. Was Bob Newsom that really demanded, and Bob Newsom could be rather demanding. And if there's a reason, the old county extension agent, Alan Ladd, told me when I first got elected that after department head meeting, he took me out and said, "So, how you get along with Bob?" So fine, of course, I was new and Bob was new, and he goes, "Well, you'll understand at some point in time why at the university they call him Bull Newsom, because he was a bully.
Yeah, he
He
would.
was a bully."
Yep.
There'd be times him and I disagree, and he sat right there.
Yeah.
When he'd get mad at me or any commissioner, he sat this the entire meeting. And he was a big gentleman. He
Big
was
guy.
tall as you, but big.
He used to catch me at every fair.
And him and I were good friends. We got along, but Bob was Bob.
He had his plan, he had his ideas, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, he was a character. He'd catch me at the county fair when I was running the Democratic booth
Uh-huh.
and give me all sorts of stuff.
Mhm.
You Democrats. Just going on and on. It was funny, and he did it in a good
One thing
way.
I appreciated about Bob, he always knew where he stood.
Yeah, well, he was always kidding me about it, so. So, it was a jest. It wasn't serious.
Never been a commissioner that had more staff members or department heads stressed or in tears. And I had to counsel a lot of people through those times, including men department heads.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Bob was a bully. And a big guy, but he was a bully.
Extension. Various sources. Different times.
Yep,
Different times.
we couldn't do that now.
Not easily.
Rules and stuff.
He was my office. Not easily. Never is. Big count. Or latest happening.
Wasn't in general, the specific topics.
I know we're meeting with Megan at 1:30. Do you have time to meet a little earlier or just want to talk maybe right after the meeting?
Yeah, we can.
I won't let him need to discuss. Go ahead, Clancy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Clancy Holman, County Counselor. One item the primary item I want to run past you is just a scheduling matter for next Thursday's meeting. That's the day that you're scheduled to have interviews of between two different businesses, potential consultants for the comp plan update. We've already got tentatively scheduled the first discussion with the applicant, the representative of the company, and also the group that's been involved in the selection committee, the other additional members of the selection committee. That would be an executive session from 10:30 to 11:30 next Thursday, followed by the second potential consultant. Also, that would be a separate executive session from 11:30 to 12:30. And then good news, get another one. Because you'll need one where you can discuss the two interviews that you just had. Now you can do that. That takes you to, by the time you do the second executive session, it's completed at 12:30. You can either, depending on how optimistic you want to be about how quickly the decision can be made, you could go 12:30 to 1. That would be reasonable. And then if you determine you need more time, you could always come out, you go back into executive session, or if you'd rather, you could schedule 12:30 to 1:30, which makes for a long day. But do you have a preference on that?
I'd go short.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah,
Acclamation.
I definitely figured it out.
I couldn't imagine that you would need more really than 12:30 to 1, but I just wanted to least offer that. So I will we'll structure it that way. I just want to give you a heads up. That's coming for that day. So be here a little bit longer than usual.
Of course, since it goes after the lunch hour, lunch is on which department?
I think the clerk's office.
They're not in the executive session. It'd be planning and development.
The fact you're not the department's not in there, I think, it'd be generous.
They'll be out getting the lunch for us.
So, something
That's
like
coming
that.
out of your budget, right?
Actually, plans could be made to
Okay.
provide lunch.
State fair, lobster well done.
Both good items.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not available next Thursday.
So we're potentially meeting till 1:30 that day.
Well,
Is that
potentially, it could be 1:30, but I think you're gonna be done by 1.
by 1? Okay.
I don't think you really need more than half an hour. By the time you spend an hour each on the two, so want to let you know. All right, that's the way we'll structure it. And that's all I really have to run by you today. I'd be glad to answer any questions you got. You'll see an updated project with on there. So, thank you.
Next, Commissioner, you have a verified extension budget presentation at 9:20.
Quick question, Rich.
Yeah,
This extension budget, what are they asking for
my county appropriation.
there?
Mhm.
Because that says, is that receipts coming or what we've already received? That's what of course I can wait till he comes. It doesn't make.
Yeah, that's for 2025. That's what they're asking
Okay,
for.
because I thought when they said receipts, that was last year's.
No, yeah, that's what they're proposing for next year's receipts. Mhm. But yeah, and that's, you can see up above, if you scroll up above a little more, the date, time period.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, they're just, I
Yep.
wasn't looking that
Uh-huh.
close and I
Yep.
said, what is,
No, it's
what
good
year
to-
are we looking? What are
Good
we
to have
looking
that
at?
clarified for sure.
Okay.
Not a small number, but they do a really good job.
What a belief it.
I think it's the same number as 2024.
You check on that?
I was gonna ask that.
You thought what?
I'm pretty sure that's the same appropriation request that they had for 2024, like that, and that number, that I don't think we increased. But I will double check.
Okay, state, does it ever appropriate more?
I don't know if they're appropriating more than the previous year or not. That I could not tell you. Brittany could check on that too, see what K-State appropriated last year.
Check on a couple of years with that.
Yeah, it seems like they should do more.
That is a county extension, so
Well, yes,
But over the last couple of years, they're making a hard push to do like the 105
yeah,
rural initiative.
yeah,
I think that
a lot of money there.
I was gonna ask too, Brittany, on that general fund revenue versus personnel, did that include fire?
It's just
Okay,
emergency management's in there because they're part of the general
Right.
fund, but fires its own.
so separate, okay, that's what I thought.
And I know there's 2 years that the percentages are the exact same. The numbers are totally different. So
Okay.
I checked several times, I'm like, how did that happen?
come on, Gary.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Yes.
Gary, you have crops, or you just with cattle?
This cattle. Yeah. Informally, we do. We own some farm ground down where I was raised. My cousin farmed in
You were raised where?
Ramona, southwest of Harrington, maybe about 12 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother and I still own part of the farm anyway after the folks passed away.
So Harrington, you find other gooches?
Which one?
Oh, I don't know the dad's name.
Gooches? Yeah.
So my son-in-law teaches over at Curtis.
Oh, yeah.
Over Riley County.
He's your son-in-law?
Not son-in-law, a nephew.
Yeah. So his dad is one of my high school classmates. Scott was one of my high school.
Scott's a big old boy.
Yeah. Yeah. And and then he's got a first cousin named Perry that runs the grain elevator for what do they call it? Agri-Trails down in Lincolnville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Ramona, Tampa, Lost Springs, Birdie, Lincolnville, we all went to Center High School right there along 77.
So you've probably seen Curtis around, haven't you?
So what?
You've probably seen Curtis around, haven't you?
Yeah, once in a while. And of course, his wife is right. See, because she caters so many things.
Right. Aaron does all the catering.
Yeah. I told Tom, I told Scott, I said, you got a daughter-in-law that's like, she does unbelievable what she does.
That girl works her tail off.
Oh my
It's an
gosh.
ongoing thing.
I feel lazy every time I'm around.
That girl works her tail off.
She does. Unbelievable. And she's always got a smile on her face.
Mhm.
There's never a thing wrong.
Yeah, Maren does a great job. She's a great kid.
Yeah.
Spend time before it through.
Sure.
You kind of, you can always have.
You know, she not only provides good service and stuff, but her food is always good. And it's reasonable, you know, a lot of these outfits that her dad got in mind. And maybe she doesn't have volume, she's not, but yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Just a few.
she's a hard-working young lady.
Yeah. So what's the relationship?
Sure.
Tom's wife is my wife's sister.
Sister, okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
Donica is Darnell's sister. They both teach at Riley County.
See, Tom and I were on the extension council together when I wasn't in extension in Pot County, and so that's how I got to know Tom. And then, of course, we had a relationship kind of with him ever since then, and we got the whole thing down about, you know, boy, I tell you, the world just keeps shrinking over time.
You can do that.
You gotta be pretty careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom and I and all them got to clear trees and brush at Grandma and Grandpa's house all day on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, from the storms or just.
No,
needed
just
to clean
old
up.
people that can't maintain a large property.
Yeah, yeah. So Carol's mom, we went home to Iowa, to her home over Memorial Weekend, and they had a little tornado hit them and ripped the roof off of 2 sheds. And by the time we got there, they had most of that cleaned up. We were still cutting trees and hauling brush and stuff. And her brother, who farmed right nearby, he had a big old pack. I mean, this thing must have been 150 years old. It fell on their house, kind of on a lean-to porch on the back, so no structural damage to the house itself. But they gotta have somebody come in. He's got tractors and stuff, but it's so huge. They cut as much as they can with the chainsaw. Somebody's gonna have to come in and do a lift to get it off of that.
Well, you know, Dan Holt,
I don't know that.
owner of Union State Bank.
Oh, I don't know him. No.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, this is their place.
There's some, you know.
Right. Sounds like more rain, but no storms today. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Tonight, storms or.
This afternoon, they were saying, I don't know if it's changed, I haven't looked at it.
Today and tomorrow.
Okay.
Last night.
And then again, starting Monday or so.
Yeah.
Day or two off.
Yeah.
Been dry enough for long enough, I'm not gonna cuss it,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this time of the year.
especially when I'm on well water, so.
Take it when you get it, yeah. Yeah. They always said it never rains too much, just may not come at the right time, but. Yeah, the other thing you have to worry about is. I remember years, I just remembered, so 1980, rained and rained and rained. Couldn't hardly get Milo planted that year, and then about the 10th of June, it shut off completely, and we had record heat that year. Over 100 for how many days in a row, and it just baked everything. Hot and dry and no rain till it doesn't fall. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Tell you, if it happens, though, we're starting out better than we have the last 3 years.
This is true.
This is true. I wish I had documented when our creek went dry last year. I wish I'd have put the date down because that was the longest spell we've had with that creek not running.
Where Wildcats going, pretty high right now.
My lawn looks better than Deborah grass.
Can't get in there and mow. I'd like to get some of the
Ours, we got brush and trees and junk, so. I'll clear the creek.
I have buffalo grass and it's a long, goes into like native grass and then it goes into all sorts of crazy stuff and then you think, now and it holds the soil,
It's kind of like
but
in the middle of the town.
it just, I want to see the creeks.
About 7 years.
Whatever guy's got to come to it's just, but he can't get, they can't get back. Because it's solid, it's still so muddy back there.
I was living in White City and just in school, so.
The rain.
And then
I'm like,
the one in
That's what-
15, I was.
It was really high. That's what, so 19 and also.
Yeah.
We have water, so, you know, the water, we had water. Plant there has steps up a couple of feet. It's like the buildings.
Yeah.
I think it needs water running on
Not, yeah, like my
Wet
senior year,
ones, you
I
couldn't
started,
mow.
like sharing.
Have small.
teachers
Oh,
and
the. It couldn't.
Combining
couldn't
so, yeah.
drain.
now it's.
I've got it.
combined.
When the
Yeah,
dirt
for
comes
sure.
out of my house, they brought it around and down.
Our senior year was just like 2 years ago though,
And
so.
it's this
Yeah,
deep,
you're right.
Well.
Kind of ravine. It's like this.
We were talking about Ethan, you know, this morning about different.
I've been putting dirt and rocks and stuff in it, and it's just then we did another 3 inches. It's,
That gets cured over time, you know, right? You get that, you start saying, well, that happened like 50 years ago. He made the comment about, I believe the United States was changing to a metric system. You know, I said, they told me that in the 4th grade, and that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember that our gym teacher saying, oh, everything's going metric, soccer's gonna be the
Oh, yeah.
sport in America. And yeah, I remember all that.
My son, his on, like he does a virtual program and they just teach him metric. And so I'm like, this is hard for me to try to teach this, because I did not learn this.
well, it is a better system, accuracy wise, but it's hard for us to, I can't
Yeah.
convert very well.
It's interesting.
It's just hard getting that into that mindset, because I still have to think, how big is the centimeter?
Yeah.
It's about a half an inch, right? 0.5, 4, I have.
0.3 something, 0.33 or something.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy because, you know, when I used to do a lot of measuring. And then you go to the decimal, you get a decimal point, well, it's such a, and then you got to convert all the inches to decimals. It's just like, ah.
What I want to know is, are they gonna start selling 2x4s as 1.5 centimeters by, you know?
I know.
I don't think so.
I don't
And they're
think
probably
that's-
still gonna be an 8 and 10 and 12 foot lengths or whatever, you know?
Well, the construction industry won't go for it.
No.
It's, everything's on a 4 foot, yeah, construction, it's 4 foot
Yeah,
basis.
yeah.
It's so true. Metrics.
I just like some of the memes that you see. It's like, you know,
And we do that ongoing.
the size of a blue whale. Say Americans will do anything, use anything for a measurement other than the metric system.
Not that I drink it, but you know, when you buy imported German beer, you know, it will
You
have
drink,
like,
just admit
it will
it.
have the, well, yeah, okay, once in a while. It will have the ounces and the milliliter,
Uh-huh.
just like that brewed beer. And I'm thinking, why do they do that? They're all on the metric systems. Do we require that they put ounces
Yes,
on it?
they do.
So why, if we're moving that way, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Why does the state of California have to put cancer tags on everything?
I hear they were taxing people that leave the state. Like if you.
Really?
Well, they're making a lot of money then.
Yeah.
Sneak out at night.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of money in the budget.
That's just.
How are they gonna tax you if you're moving out of the state? Good luck getting that.
I don't know, maybe on
Probably for
hiring
some
an Uber
house.
or something, I don't know, there's some kind of it,
Maybe it's a mortgage thing.
could be. I read an article this morning that's interesting, you know, with interest rates being higher and people have got adjustable rates, you know, that there's gonna be a lot more foreclosures and defaults because interest rates go up, it's gone up that much on the adjustable rates.
Now, 2% or something.
it's very certain.
I'm hanging on to mine, it's 3.7.
Yeah,
It's-
You got 2.6.
We got down to 3.5 on a 15-year and paid it off.
It's pretty.
We don't owe that anything anymore, which is a good feeling. But my house insurance keeps going up.
Oh, goodness.
Everything keeps going up.
Yeah. They said insurance is really gonna jump this year.
Oh, it already has.
Already has, yeah.
Mine went up $34 on just renter's insurance and for a truck. It's like, nothing's newer, nothing changed.
I
But
know.
everything
I
costs
haven't made
more
a
to
claim,
replace.
have filed, nothing.
Everything costs more to replace though. That's the thing. They're calculating.
Well,
They're gonna uncalculate. I've been with them for 30 years. I'm gonna look someplace else because it's ridiculous. I'm not gonna be loyal, but it's 920, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
For your time. Reasonably straightforward. We recognize we're an outside agency, so our budget forms always look different to you, but the main thing is as you look down through our list of expenses and receipts, in the contribution, I know you're interested in that, always what Kansas State University provides to us is $74,620, which contributes towards parts of the agent salary. And then we have a county appropriation of $667,380, which you gave us a 5% increase last year. So we are not asking for any additional funds for 2025. Our expenses, like everybody else's, has gone up, but we've got, we can cover it all. So we don't need to ask for any more. May not need to ask for any more for another year or two, if that's the case, if things don't get too crazy.
Can you come talk to the department heads?
What's that?
I said, can you come talk to the other department heads?
Sure. Well, I read the papers, so I would see what's happening, and I know other people are making, well, we're in good shape, so there's no need for us to ask for any additional funds. John, you've got a question?
Oh,
I can
no,
tell.
we were just talking, I mean,
Yeah.
where's K-State really fitting in all this?
So, yes, and last year, I think you asked that question ahead of
I
time,
probably
and
did.
I brought a sheet in. And they say what their contribution is, what they do for, on the agent side at least, besides this figure that you see here that
Right.
you don't ever see, is they contribute 8.5% towards our 403B Kansas Board of Regents retirement system. So there's that you don't see. And then, of course, the right to use K-State Research and Extension. Otherwise, if you're unaffiliated, you don't have any credibility. So we have that, but really it's pretty small, and I don't imagine that getting a whole lot bigger. So, and that's last year's figure too. It's probably gonna go up maybe 1% or 2%, but and that's all that I know it is for now. So when we actually, this is probably how it's going to be filed. The Kansas Extension Council law says we have to file a budget with you by July the 15th at the latest. And so we go back to the old rule of you have 10 days to either accept, deny, or send back to our board, and then they meet next Wednesday. So if you take action and say, yeah, we want you to make modifications or whatever, or we want you to accept, or we'll accept it as it is, then the board can make their decision, then I can file it with Rich. So.
Well, does K-State have a certain amount? Do they give the same amount to every county, or do they adjust
they
it
do
according
not.
to the size?
That's a very good question. The way they do it is by the agent. And I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I can certainly provide them. It's like every county, districts are different, but every county gets $11,000 or $12,000 for the first 2 agents. So that would be me and the ag agent is how it's structured now. And then the 3rd and 4th agents get a little bit less than that from K-State, and the 5th agent gets even less than that. So, and then like Sedgwick County, it's interesting because I had an email conversation with the budget director for Sedgwick County. They were asking what we do here and what our budget is like. And so I shared that with her, and you know, they have 9 agents in Sedgwick County, but they also have a population of 375,000 or whatever. And Johnson County is kind of the same way. Wyandotte County, Shawnee and Douglas. They consider us a metro county in extension, even though we're really not. I don't know, are we a metro area?
It depends on, it kind of depends on what you're dealing with. I mean, in terms of metropolitan planning, yes, that's why we've got an NPO, but in terms of like rural opportunity, no. It's, yeah.
Population threshold used to be 50,000.
Yeah,
So excuse me.
that's a city, it's not necessarily county, is
It's
it?
a metropolitan area. Mhm.
So that would include the city.
Mhm,
and the
absolutely.
county,
Yeah, the
which is what,
city is within the
70?
county,
And that's about 70, what?
72, 74, somewhere in there.
Yes.
Just right under 72.
So we have us, Douglas, Shawnee, Wyandotte, Johnson, Leavenworth is not considered, and Sedgwick.
And that's baffling because Leavenworth is actually Leavenworth has a larger population than we do.
Yeah.
And their cities are, I guess it probably has to do with just the city population.
I think a single city over 50,000.
Yeah, and Leavenworth isn't that.
And they have Lansing and Leavenworth, but
Well, it's Tonganoxie.
Yeah, Bayshore, Linwood, I mean, they're all kind of spread out there. So, you know.
Yeah.
And they
But
would
it-
have an MPO probably.
No, they don't.
I,
There's only 4 and it's the Sedgwick, Johnson, Lawrence and us.
yeah. Well, talking with other metro agents and directors is that apparently Riley County has much better support for extension than some of the other counties do.
I've heard that.
Sedgwick County, the director who I checked with to make sure that this was legitimate, who this person was. And she said that they have had a flat budget for 10 years down there. And I don't know how you can operate like that. Now their facility is unbelievable. They have an unbelievable nice facility. It's just wonderful. So I don't even know how they pay the bills on it, but they were gonna put the new fairgrounds there. The Sedgwick County Fairgrounds, I think, are at Cheney. But it was in the city and they couldn't do it for whatever zoning or whatever, so they couldn't have animals down there. But they've got a very nice complex. So, yeah. So any other questions? We're an open book, so let us know what you think and appreciate your time.
I appreciate all your work, Gary. Thank
All
you.
right, yep. Anna's next on, right? So I'll scroll down to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
And Brittany, I think remember in 10 days, they need to have a decision on that, so be sure it's on the agenda for the commissioners to decide. Within 10 days, they want them to go back to the drawing board or accept their proposal.
Let you and I talk about that when you pick a day, because it can get weird with the weekends. Yeah,
So is it 10 calendar days?
it's 10 calendar days.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we routinely said is the same.
10 days.
The governor's override, and we can, they said, we don't do anything, it passes without our signature.
That's going to be an interesting discussion up there.
Yeah.
Is that what she's at?
But, no, I mean, that's what the state passed stuff, she has 10 days to either
Oh, 10 days.
sign it
sign
or
Let it become.
or let it veto it, or if she doesn't do anything, it becomes law. That her signature.
Quite a nice way to hide what your position is. Oh, but you can claim legitimately, I didn't sign it, didn't approve it. Yeah, she will.
To answer your question, Rich, I think whatever happens, it's gonna happen real quick. They're not gonna be there for long.
Probably want to get out of campaign.
Well, yeah, I mean,
One day, I think it's gonna last longer than that.
And maybe 2, but I think they're gonna go up there and I don't think they're gonna get anything done.
when are they meeting?
18.
Except she said she's going to announce it, or going to sign it, but she hasn't actually signed the thing saying
Yeah.
that day. Said she did next week.
I think they're gonna just figure out some kind of a percentage for now and leave it. That's what's gonna happen. And it's,
A percentage.
I don't know, but just a percentage of the tax decrease overall and sign it and be done with it. Maybe 1.5%, 2% or something, and that's probably what it's gonna be. So I just don't see the two sides budging on the tax rates. I don't see it. She wants 3, the legislature wants 1, they fell in the middle of 2. I don't see where you're gonna budge on that.
Who knows? We could do a little wager, maybe.
Not bad.
5.25%, how about that?
Let's do a wager on video.
Please.
It'll make it so much easier for the prosecutors.
Coleman hasn't had that challenge yet in his career, so.
And we'll wait to the very end.
We don't football game.
Yeah.
You know.
Good idea. Bookmaking operation exposed.
Yeah, well, we gotta raise.
Well, there's nothing in common.
I don't think there is.
See how good woman really is.
Give me a nice challenge. It wouldn't be any pressure.
We're funding facilities. That's our excuse.
We gotta get the money somewhere.
Yeah, state won't give it to us, so we're just gonna do it on our own.
All credible arguments.
Guess you could delegate it to Brian. He's not here.
Yeah,
Now that it occurred to me.
yeah, he just left before he gets.
That's his mistake.
Yep.
Well, the phones aren't ringing yet, are they?
Well, mine's off currently, so it might be ringing, and I just don't know.
They're not gonna call the defendants. They're gonna call law enforcement.
Oops.
Amazingly, that wouldn't be the wackiest thing that's happened recently.
No.
One of the strangest ones was that a KC meeting or county commissioners meeting where the Sedgwick County Commissioners had suddenly all their phones were ringing and they had to leave the meeting because of the ongoing criminal investigation. Yeah.
That was in Sedgwick County?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my.
Yeah. As I recall.
When was that?
I want to say maybe 4 years ago. But people who were there talked about it because they all suddenly all their phones were ringing and they all racing out. Some kind of general session.
That's what I think with the minutes on, but Monday I was looking at my 3-day weekend. I had one phone call.
Yeah.
From my brother.
It's kinda nice.
It's like, I get 10 spam calls a day usually. They took the weekend off too.
Well, they got a rest.
Knock on wood, I don't get a lot of spam calls.
Get them all the time.
I'm blocking.
I block them. I mean,
I
it's
get
most of
those.
it shows spam.
Yeah, that's all I get.
But also it's numbers that I recognize those.
Concerned and half the time.
Because now, of course, they'll even,
Wait a minute.
they put most of the numbers.
Several texts and several calls from that
Mhm.
tax fund group.
Oh, well, I thought that.
So they're sending mailers, they're sending texts, and they're doing calls.
Really, I haven't gotten any calls. Yeah, I could have, because I might have blocked it there.
No, it's not in Manhattan.
I said, I'm outside, so.
The address it's labeled to is out of Washington DC, so I don't know.
City found a commissioner.
Yep.
I don't know her.
I know,
Do you?
yeah. There was an interesting list, I thought. Just process
Yeah, I don't know where this one came from.
she's been here for quite a long time.
I mean, how she
brought it up.
got selected.
Yeah, I'm not for sure on that either.
I know one city commissioner was not happy.
Yeah.
No,
McCall's
the city attorney just got left kind of early at the end of the meeting. Was not very happy.
That was kind of interesting. The one that resigned also got seconded to come back on.
No, I didn't get second.
Didn't get
Oh, didn't get
seconded.
seconded.
We didn't get second. He
No.
I didn't watch I didn't get a chance.
I didn't watch it
That's
this
what-
week, so.
That's what it said on the paper.
The crowd kind of.
I thought it said that there was a vote.
Some
I was
group of them.
thinking,
No, it's everybody, the whole crowd laughed when he brought that up.
oh,
I think it was one group. There was two groups sitting there, one on one side I heard and one on the other.
Oh, right.
You can imagine the groups.
okay. Yeah, on that note.
Right.
Yeah, let's,
Like appraisal.
We'll quit digging here and, yeah, we'll go to something else.
Morning, Commissioners. Ann Burson, Riley County Appraiser's Office here with the monthly staff update. This one's pretty short and sweet as we are wrapping up appeals and certifying. So we had to get all appeals completed and all results letters out to property owners by May 15th, and that was completed. Our team certified personal property values to the clerk on Friday, May 24th. The appraisal roll for personal property totaled $55,967,695. Ag use maps were mailed on the 15th to all property owners with agricultural land. And as a reminder, we're asking property owners to review and update these maps accordingly. And please reach out to our office if they have any questions or concerns. We're processing those ag use maps as they're received. And our ag appraiser is reviewing sales and has begun the annual review process. The one thing I want to touch on there is this is a statutory requirement. Under statute, we are required to follow PUD guidelines, and agricultural use has to be verified every 2 years. And so that's just a reminder for our property owners that have questions as to, why we do or go through this process. All property has to be reviewed once every 6 years. Agricultural use has to be verified every 2. And so that's part of our process. Residential, there are approximately 317 residential home sales so far for 2024. That median sale price is still right around that $232, $250, and the average sale price is $256, $692. Our sales ratio is currently standing at that 96%. Again, we've kind of just got back into reviewing the sales. So it's going to take some time to get all of those caught up. So a lot of that is unvalidated sales. Our team is working sales and annual review currently, and we anticipate sending out green cards in the coming months. Those green cards are part of that annual review process. There's been a lot of training going on, especially in our residential department, getting them ready for this process. And this has been a lot of what we've done this month. Lots of training, some of it at PBD and some of it in-house. Our commercial team is preparing for BOTA. They're reviewing sales, completing annual review. And the next slide does show the updates to the open commercial BOTA cases. As we've discussed, the list did shrink, but when you add 2024 in there, it just climbed down. So
It's still smaller than.
It is
it's been,
still,
so-
yeah, we have definitely made a huge dent in this list, and so I'm excited to see that some of these cases are getting resolved.
Well, they're scheduled.
Yeah, they're gonna move
Scheduled.
schedule. They're gonna move.
Oh my
along.
goodness,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have, to see so much scheduled, I mean, if you look at the top there, we've got one already scheduled for March of 2025. So they are scheduled, and some of them are scheduled way in advance, and so calendars are marked, and we are preparing for these cases as we move forward. On a side note, we do also have small claims hearings as they relate to 2024 value, payment under protests as they relate to the 2023, with those tax statements going out and second half of 23 being due in May. The timing, it's just kind of a busy time in the appraiser's office, just processing and working through those payment under protests as well. We did certify real estate property roll on May 13th. The appraisal roll for real estate property totaled $9,981,861,540. And that is just based on, it's not gonna include any decisions that come from BOTA, any exemption applications that come back, any payment under protests and things like that. And so just things to be mindful of. In other business, next week we will be at KCAA in Hayes.
myself and my team. And so, if you do need to reach me, if there's an urgent matter, please call myself, text myself. I will check email intermittently and try to respond as quickly as I can, but I'll have one of those email notifications letting you know I'm out of the office. We have started a scanning project and we're updating processes and procedures. You know, one of the things with the budgetary limitations and trying to keep budgets flat, we're trying to maximize resources and really just use the tools we have to meet those statutory deadlines and make sure we're being as efficient in processes that we can. And so some of the things we're doing do include scanning some of our historic records, so they're a lot easily accessed and we do not have to pull folders. When you have to annually review property once every 6 years, pulling 3,000 files out of a cabinet, that takes time.
Yeah.
And tracking. And so there are more efficient ways we can do things, and those are all things that we're beginning those phases. It's going to take time to get there, but we are moving that direction, as well as utilizing our digital platforms more. Making those kind of our primary source instead of having so much paper printed. And so really just trying to maximize the resources that we have and reduce some of those expenses. Again, Board of Tax Appeals, you know, I know that many of you did see, we got some results on exemptions. Auto Museum exemption was approved by the Board of Tax Appeals. I presented all the facts and deferred to the board in that decision because things were unclear as far as from the appraiser standpoint. The exemption was granted. And so you'll be seeing that, I think, next week for tax roll correction. And then additional, you know, still waiting to hear back on some other exemption cases as they come through. Those will be processed. And again, I noted the PUPs, payment under protest. Those are some of the things that we're working through. But, you know, my team has done a fantastic job. I commend them on how we tackled this year with valuation, the short staff. I'm excited to say we are fully staffed.
That's always a kiss at the.
Way to jinx yourself. Way to jinx yourself.
I know. Well, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. We are.
I wouldn't walk back to the office.
Thanks, guys. I'm getting positive. I'm never thinking of it. So, yes, we are fully staffed. Like I said, there's just a lot of training that we're working through right now. Preparing for retirements in, you know, the next year or so, making sure we are getting people cross-trained and ensuring that we're meeting the needs, responding to property owners' questions as they come up and reaching out when things come up that should be addressed, and we handle that. So if you have any questions for me on the staff update. As a last minute plug, don't forget I will be gone for 2 weeks at the end of June and first 2 weeks of July. I will not be reachable. Just telling you, Steve will be the point of contact while I am out of the office. And so very excited for that. It's right around the corner.
Sounds kind of like she's going into witness protection.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks, Anna. Have a good day. Next commissioner is Megan Lewis at 9.
Yes, I had checked follow up.
Oh, yeah.
Morning, Megan.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I came with good news today. On Saturday, we had my alumni banquet in the classroom reunion, and that was a lot of fun. And my Sunday,
Clay County before. That's just.
Oh, it wasn't much.
No, you can only use that on Mondays and Tuesdays. Yeah, so we.
Just 3 or 4 years ago. It was pretty slow.
Never really broke it down. It's never really been broken down. You can look at it. That's the reason why.
But he'd bring him field.
Everybody's looked at it, kind of broken it down by line, and I can look at it. So I just don't.
Even
Yeah,
That's even.
yeah, only once like I knew for my cousin's wedding, but
Our funding,
I think
was
he
it?
just could, there's so
Like, it's
many
really a
penguins,
lot.
and he just
Couple of years.
enjoyed it.
That is too.
Sometimes
Yeah,
change
it
is
was
good.
the best, and they'll take the pictures for you and
It's
everything.
really good that they.
Yep.
kept that.
Yeah.
So,
I figured.
yeah, it's-
Antarctica.
I don't wanna lose it.
These were African penguins, so you walked in there super hot. Like we have to stay in here in line for.
But even the last 2 years.
I think it helped that it was-
$1,000.
No.
I think it helped that it was explained a little bit thoroughly,
Yeah.
in advance.
Splash park, and so.
yeah, oh my gosh, you should go. It's great. Yeah.
I think that's a process that needs to be repeated in a couple of areas.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, you should go. They've changed a lot of things, even since the last time that we went. Yeah, and so like they didn't have a splash park before, and they have more animals and stuff, and so I'm not swimming close for the kids, so yeah. I'll check it too.
It's like gift certificate, like,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
And look at, I save them, I like to save them.
Oh, yeah, I do that too.
What I always call that is,
I do that.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's due, is it due June first?
Seven.
So, I just sent her my numbers and she just verified, so I think she's good to go, as far as I know. So. I didn't touch the, we didn't touch the splits again, we just adjusted, to add in that financial investment. And then, she'll have to do all the agency operations, yeah, which is. I think you would have to public works, because they'll probably listen verbally. And then when you do sell it, there's an insurance sheet that you'll have to fill out for me to cancel it and remove it off your property. Yeah. Yeah, reach out to John.
Did get my son's house floorboard yesterday. That was a workout.
Yeah.
So.
He's still working at the bank.
Mhm.
Son's still working at the bank.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a credit analyst.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
no.
It's the deal, lots of big numbers.
So.
And recommend good or bad news for people.
Yeah, probably a lot more bad these days.
Just one. What'd you do? Probably was last time.
Yeah. 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 That's good. And Sunday and the day. I think you stay with me. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes. But that's kind of so he's good. He's also send them to go do that, especially. Yeah, and we're to your family, so you know, we want to hit the services.
My daughter refused to stand up in church when they asked to recognize veterans. We got into it. She said, I'm not a veteran. I'm like, yeah. Veterans are current and had previous of service. And she was all, stubborn. I don't know where she gets it from. I'm like, you can the definition. This is something I want to.
Have they given a completion date for the course?
Or for June 1st, it looks like May, July, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say.
But,
There's no way that's.
Yeah.
maybe a week earlier, the big thing we thought was gonna be late, we have meetings weekly, the countertops will maybe be late, but now they're gonna be early, so.
Where are they coming from?
Okay, go ahead, Megan.
Good morning, Megan Loomis with Community Corrections. I wanted to come today to provide an update to the commission since our budget meeting on May 9th. So since May 9th, we initially had made a budget request in the amount of $156,744. And on May 20th, Elizabeth, Brittany, Jesse, and myself went to the Clay County Board of County Commissioners. We were presented a request in the amount of $37,791.85 to cover Clay County personnel expenses that are not funded by our KDOC allocations. And the Clay County BOCC voted unanimously to fund the total amount requested. And then additionally, on May 20th, I received notification from the Kansas Department of Corrections that an additional allocation had been awarded in the amount of $22,131.15 for personnel expenses as well. So that reduced our initial budget request by $59,923. So for 2025, the Community Corrections personnel budget shortfall from all other funding sources is now $96,821.02. And this is the amount requested for our 2025 budget allocation. Without goal.
Right.
Is our about that.
So what's the shortfall still?
Well, so that's what we've been funding that personnel shortfall. It's basically because her funding sources have still remained stagnant. I mean, they did add that this most recent $20,000, but that's the only, and that's not a commitment year over year. It's commitment specifically for this year. So their continued support has not kept up with our personnel.
You say this year, that's just for 24 and not technically for 25?
It's for fiscal year 2025.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify that.
But it's just the 1 year, so
Right.
it's not even if they're saying that they will
Right.
support that through the years, but so last year, help me with the number, we had 87,000 that the commission was funded. And we were short, which has caused some of the changes this year in how we administered. And then this year, however, with everything covered, Clay and the additional, we're only going to be increase up to 96,000. So, yeah. So it's still, I mean, the state doesn't cover all of the expenses of this program.
No.
Yeah. So that's where we're saying, when she says shortfall, basically that's the unfunded portion of personnel costs. Because that's what only the portion that the commissioners have agreed to fund in the past.
Go ahead, Rich.
This team, these three and Jesse are to be commended. They've spent probably 20, 30 hours on this. And Megan, part of it's, getting Megan up to speed. And I appreciate Megan using them as resources. But those four ladies have spent a lot of time to get us to these points to where everyone's on the same page. And Megan knows to use us as a resource. And so it's been a lot of hard work to get to this point. Megan's been great to work with, and we appreciate it.
It's been a team effort. I don't want to downplay that whatsoever.
And we understand that the commissioners would prefer, and the taxpayers would likely also prefer, that the state paid for this mandated service. But we realized 3 years ago, and really before that, when we were cutting positions, we had to do layoffs and cut positions and cut programs and search for grants and all kinds of things. But, this 3 years ago, the commissioner started funding the personnel. Otherwise, we cannot keep those services running.
Do that.
Appreciate all the hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really do.
On that note, it's just Reese the last couple of years, I spoke on, why community correction staff should be getting the same raises as the rest of our staff because they are our employees. And like all of our services in Riley County, we try to do a little bit more than other communities as far as providing great service, and they do provide great service. So that's why I didn't hesitate in supporting them going that direction. But for them to have a great team, we have to give those types of pay and benefits to get that type of service. And so it's well warranted for sure.
And I don't know, Megan, you've had an opportunity to say it, and I don't remember Shelley saying it regularly, but you guys are rated at the top of your services across the state. I mean, Riley County has, by data, great services. It's not just because we live here and have preference.
We have, hands down, we have excellent outcomes with our clients compared to other districts.
And I have heard that from
Yeah.
other districts too, by the way. That's not new information.
And it's hard to quantify, but then that affects the cost that go into the attorney's office, the cost that goes into the jails, the cost that goes into all other social programs, really.
The challenge there is the clientele that you're working with has changed drastically too, so we're not really making up the difference.
Yeah, and the challenges continue to grow,
unfortunately.
and it's hard to measure prevention.
Right.
That's I mean, you can know it's there and you can see, they can look at their data and see how many they have return offenders, repeat offenders, but you don't know what might have happened. And I think it's really valuable.
Okay. This is good news, so.
Yeah, we were really excited.
After working 20, 30, but.
Yeah, but then the commissioners there were very supportive, very positive, understood.
They honestly did.
Yeah, and Rich had spoken to the clerk ahead of time and said they had the information, Megan shared the memo. I mean, they were very supportive of the services, and Megan had already had a great relationship with them. You could tell that when we walked in, so. Yeah, I mean, I think working with them in the future is a way forward.
They did ask that Clancy and Joel Mason, the Clay County attorney, work together to develop an updated resolution in a new interlocal agreement. So that way, moving forward, they're part of this program and the process.
And I would say that's probably the best way to go because I mean, along the way, commissioners, staff, everybody's going to change. So we have to have something conducive and consistency. That makes sense.
Are they requiring somebody to be up there like you were up there?
So that's the expectation, is that there will be a full-time staff
Full-time
there moving forward. And we'll have to address that as we figure this position out. So.
Yeah, okay. I thought so.
That is in the budget though for next year.
It is.
At default, have a director and a person up there.
Yes,
That was
yes,
coming.
depending on commissioners, allocation to them,
Right.
yes, that is what we're
That's the
requesting.
intention.
But we have discrepancy between what was originally thought of in the budget and what is actually needed.
Right, that's her amendment today, so that's what she's saying now, what we need is that 97,000 in order to have that position fully funded, the director fully funded across the board.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I don't know if I have anything more to say though. Sorry, guys.
So do we have to make a motion? We don't have to.
No.
We just amend the budget.
Do you have any additional questions for me?
No, I think moving forward, you're just gonna switch this out with what was there originally, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Megan. Appreciate all your guys' work.
Yeah.
All you ladies' work.
It turned out to be well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were very, very excited. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Next, commissioners, it's your time to discuss the letter from Geary County regarding North Central Kansas Regional Juvenile Detention Facility.
Yes, this should be interesting.
I don't know where my letter went. Do we have another copy of the letter somewhere? It's probably stacked in here.
Yeah, I kind of have that letter memorized because I have it both digital and copy.
Greg probably has one.
Yeah, we actually copy of the letter.
I got one up there. Yeah, really, one.
I just probably have it.
I'm gonna take a copy.
Yeah, I probably.
You have a copy of it, or do you want one?
I've got it on, computer. She emailed it to me. And then, of course, he got it.
Here's another one we got. No, that's from a different, that's Morris County's response to this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know it's very similar. Oh, what we got? I guess the I know, it's the polarizing, it's a thing, yeah. Some of this are crazier than others. Like I say, if you've seen, got the letter, like I say, and this is Morris County, they're putting a
Marion.
What is Marion County? Oh, okay.
Marion County.
Oh, I was thinking. Anyway, they're actually writing a response. I don't know if we want to do a written response or just relay to it. This has been going on since August last year. Just as a background, Shelley had sent myself and Trish Giordano, who's a Gary County Commissioner, that they'd gotten a juvenile who came over here for corrections from there. And when they did the drug test on him, he tested positive. And they traced that and she just letting us know, well, they already checked and found out who it was. And this one, they got rid of one of the corrections officers who was bringing stuff in.
And for the record, during my time here, that's not the first time that has happened.
Yeah,
So,
they're not angels, the
Right.
residents there.
sure, sure.
So then the next month, Trish brought in a long list of complaints about things. And the next month, Angela, who's the second in command, went through, that's why I've got if you want to see, I've got the list of she listed, this was the problem you brought up, this is why it was resolved, this was resolved. Some of the things, she did bring up some valid things that they were always just telling me, everything's fine here. Well, no, it's not fine. These kids, they've had problems. They found somebody with drugs. They've had complaints. The kids file complaints and DCF has to investigate and they find out.
DCF's a whole different.
Yeah,
they're animal limited.
but they got cameras there and the kids maybe don't realize it because they say, oh, this happened. And they'll look at the camera and go, that's not what happened, but she's been hammering them ever since then. And part of the problem is the personality between her and Sean, who's the head of it. They both don't get along. And I told Sean he needed anger management. He lets the rest of us settle, let her run and respond. He gets upset and starts hollering back at her, which is, doesn't do good. Neither one of them.
Part of the issue too is this is Trisha's background. She's in law enforcement,
Yeah.
community corrections, so it helps, but it doesn't help too. So,
And then after the August meeting, I think that's when he brought up the juvenile thing. As we were leaving, Trish and one other commissioner, I can't remember, started talking about some things, saying, oh yeah, we need to look, maybe get more drug testing. But there's a lot, talked about it. And after the meeting, after we talked, she went in and told Sean, well, you need to do this, this and this. And one person doesn't get, he got upset, one person. And she said, well, and he said it was a coma violation. Do you guys meeting outside the meeting? I said, 3 out of 15 is not a coma violation. But we have implemented some more things. There's more testing. And the state has certain regulations, more testing to random testing of the employees and of the kids. And there's only, and more searches because there's restrictions on how thorough they can search kids. And kids bring stuff, like I said, they're not angels that they're bringing in there.
No.
If I remember right, not cutting you off.
Okay, that's right.
4 years ago, they increased the security there at the facility itself with technology or something there, or scanners or something there, if I remember right. I remember
I was there, I know.
when Commissioner Wells was here and on that particular board, they were discussing that, and I don't remember.
Increased.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's helping or hurting, and
This particular letter, and then also this, she reached first to Judge Coca-Cola that has complaints, and Coca in 22, she wrote a letter, a complaint, and we reviewed it and didn't think it was right, and they brought her over and gave her a tour of the facility. Toured the facility, showed her what the procedures were, and she was, oh, okay. It's, again, they hear from kids like what's going on, and
It's not
it's
necessarily.
necessarily true. But now in this letter, she said, and one of the things she said at one of the first meetings, well, even the community corrections people have been complaining, and I talked in Riley County, and I talked to Shelley at the time, she goes, I had some questions, they haven't brought up questions that have been resolved. So this one, she said that the judge said that he had problems. One of the other people there, second or third command there, had lunch with this judge a week before this meeting and said, how are things going? She was happy with things. So I'm not sure where that came from. The other thing, she said DCF needs to come in and investigate these claims. And even in her letter, DCF has unsubstantiated the complaints. However, that doesn't mean that they don't have problems. But DCF has come in and reviewed all the cases and said, no, there wasn't a problem. And again, they're giving us better reports each month now saying, yeah, we had 3 kids did this, or some, we had problems with these kids, which we talked about at the time. Yeah, we can't ignore the fact that there are problems in the thing. I mean, there are problems in the facility. If there's going to be problems, that's why those kids are put there, because they've had problems. And they've got a lot of good programs. Like I say, this one representative from Gary County just seems to hammer on them all the time, and thought everything had been resolved, and then it fired back up again. And I don't know whether we want to respond officially with a response to this, or let me know what you think, and I'll tell them at the next meeting. And like I say, a couple things brought up was they weren't giving us more information, and they are now. But and she even, and Angela in her report, she'll say, last month there were 3 complaints to DCF. They came in and reviewed them, looked at the cameras, and went, oh, that's not what happened, because the kids, that's what they're there for, because they had problems. And again, this one, as she said, well, DCF, we need to have DCF in here to investigate the thing. And they do. They come in, and when there's complaints, they do come in and investigate them. And they haven't. Occasionally there are things that come up. There was one of the complaints was excessive use of force, and they showed in the tapes, and they didn't. They just restrained the kid and got him back, and set him down. I'm not. Like I say, she's the representative on the board, and the one before, Asher was the one before. He only came to 1 or 2 meetings a year anyway, and that's what. If there's 15 counties, we usually have 6 at the meeting,
there's several counties that don't even send anybody.
So how do you get any business done if you don't have?
We changed the amount of,
Oh, okay.
revised our rules to have a quorum. There's 6 is all that's required, because they had changed it. Well, I guess with 15, it would have been 8. They changed it to 6, and then we even changed it to 5. Because most of the counties don't show up.
But they still
because-
fund it.
Yeah, they still have to pay.
Because they rarely use it, or
And they don't, if you, and I was gonna,
Huh, I didn't know that.
so the dollar figures aren't that big to them, probably.
Yeah,
I guess.
Smaller population counties.
but well, it isn't just, it's not population, it's how much they use it. And you're billed based on the average, and they say that, and here they said they wanted, their letter, they said they wanted the funding changed. Right now, it's a 5-year average over what's happened in 5 years. But every once in a while, they get one kid in there that's there for a long time. And it's the number of days used in a year. And some, like Washington had 7 days. Most of them, well, all the counties except for 4 have 35 days or less a year that are used. The budgeted days, and again, maybe that, I don't know whether that's community corrections that takes care of things or what. But the budgeted days for Saline is 1,789. Gary County is 1,366. Riley is 359. We don't have that many kids.
Or stay in jail.
Uh,
Ours are probably in the law enforcement center.
They can't be.
They can't be a
That's
juvenile.
for juvenile.
If they're under
That's only
18, they have to be
juvenile.
over there.
Yeah.
Over there.
If they're not in.
There's restrictions on who can be in the
Some kind of
jail.
probation that they don't get sent over there.
Huh.
So,
That's
although this year, we're already over our number this year. So at least we've had a couple. But like I say, a lot of these, you know, I guess those numbers, those numbers I gave, I guess, were for this year. They usually said, like, Washington County has one budget of the year. They just don't have it, you know, and so they don't send people. There's Jewel, Saline, Pot County occasionally, Marion, Morris, and one other one that regularly, Ottawa used to show up. Now that the Mitchell County is the one that shows up. And the others, every once in a while, we'll see one of them, but most Sunday don't. And so I don't know whether you want to respond to this. It seems to be trying to stir it up more. I mean, they're in a difficult, you know, those kids are not easy to deal with, but they do have a lot of good programs that they work with the kids. I mean, they have life skills classes. They give them they started doing driver's license, helping them pass the written driver's license test. They have mental health people counseling come in. They work on a GED. Some they go through. I think we talked about that. The Junction City schools are supposed to be instructing them, and now they're not. They are in the detention, but not in the secure care. Starting next year, and we're already working on something. But I mean, they do a lot of stuff to try to keep those kids in line, and try to keep employees. As you know, as we know from the jail here, it's hard to get correctional officers. And we had in a 2-year period, we gave 3 raises to try to get, and they finally got positions filled. So, you know, I don't know what you want to do as a response to this letter.
I'm of the interpretation of maybe just not trying to stir anything up more than it already is at this point in time. And I mean, I'm reading the response here, and it sounds like it's being done all that can be done.
They're doing what they can. And they said they wanted to try to kick that representative off. I don't think that's not our decision to make.
Yeah.
That's those commissioners have to decide who they want to see. And they were, like I said, the other one wasn't attending very often, and now she is. And she was a police officer or sheriff.
She was. She was
in
in the sheriff's department.
Okay, I can't remember whether she's police or sheriff.
And I think she's did or still does work over there in the 8th Judicial Community Corrections over there. No. So that is her background, and that probably is why she's,
Who's that?
yeah.
And they do have problems with kids, and
Sure.
that's who they're dealing with, you know. And again, like I say, before they were giving us, and there was one, they were kind of rushing through, everything's going fine. Well, we know it's fine, but let us know what happened to this. So if somebody comes in and said, oh, I hear a kid got this, was doing this and this issue last month. We know, we're informed now of what they're doing. Positive and negative things each month.
Well, the thing with the DCF workers, it's kind of interesting to read that, you know, because a lot of those problems happen. Gun children's in their homes. And I don't think that, you know,
Well, DCF's not exactly angels themselves.
well, no, but that might need to be addressed, but you've read through all this.
And they are, when problems come up, DCF gets, you know, they can file complaints with DCF and they come and investigate it, and they come and investigate it, and at the end of the year, I don't have to dig through the stack, but they did do they come in once a year unannounced
Mhm.
to review what's going on. They haven't had any problems. She keeps saying, well, so-and-so is complaining. Well, one person might be complaining,
Yeah.
you know, and
You have to be able to substantiate the complaint.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if you have a list of them that are substantiated and you can prove that they're valid, that's one thing, but if you're not
yeah.
validating it, that's a whole.
You know, and there has been a couple times,
Sure.
a couple times when something went wrong and they did, you know, and they corrected. Like I say, one of the things I found out one of the corrections officers was living with a guy who was a known drug dealer in Gary County. And when they found that out, she was like, oh. And we had a problem. Yeah, 3 years ago that had one of the persons was writing themselves some checks. But they caught it, you know, when the check came through, because the person that writes checks, someone else does the bank statement, reconciles the bank statement with where did those checks come from? And they prosecuted and, you know, took care of it. So when problems do come up, and they've taken care of it as far as I can see.
So that would be, you know, you've been to all the meetings and you've read through all this, and
Yeah.
that's what you think, they just
Yeah.
kind of let it.
Good. And like I say, they had been a little lax in letting us, keeping us informed, and then more. But, like I say, the complaints, like I say, one time, and she had said, oh, well, yeah, the community corrections over here had a problem with them. And I went up to the top shelf, she goes, I've had some complaints, but when I brought something up, they fixed it. You know. So I'm not
It's not
sure what it
probably
is,
something
but-
we need to get into then.
Yeah.
I would say nothing else, just kind of.
Responding to her questions. And like I say, part of it is just the first, well, because the one time when Sean wasn't there, it was the director, Angela, assistant director, I'm not sure what her title was. She's the one who went through the list. The meeting went a lot better. For those two people just drain each other's nerves.
I mean, maybe if anything, after those meetings are done and there are substantiated complaints, just keep us updated on that.
Yeah.
Just so we're aware, so if something comes our way, we're kind of aware of it, but outside of that, I'm not gonna insert any of my opinions on it.
And the rest of the commissioners keep talking to each other as we leave meeting on. Wasn't this taken care of last month? Didn't we go over all this? And it keeps coming back up again, didn't we?
It sounds like we want to create issues maybe where there maybe really isn't, or maybe it really isn't that big.
I don't think, it seems to me that when problems come up, they've done a good job of taking care of it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a personality issue between two people.
Yeah. It happens. It's a tough environment.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, and that's when I talked to Shelley, she, you know, community correction isn't a job I want, but she said, oh, man, I wouldn't want to be in that. That facility.
or any of the ones,
And
It's tough.
Northeast Kansas, Southwest, any of them, you know.
yeah. So. And Sean's been there, well, I think he opened, but he went 30 years, he's director. He knows what goes on and how to get things and there's a formula, it's funny because they get some of their funding from the state. And he has to keep their books in a certain way, you know, have books that show the state that yes, they are spending the money in the right places. And like I said, one time he had talked about expanding into the old Saline County jail, except we looked into it, we had an architect, come look at it. And the cost to convert that to what it needed for juveniles was astronomical. So.
Okay.
Like I said, just wanted, since we gotten this letter, I wanted to
Yeah.
update you guys on whatever, what.
I'm sure I'll bump into her somewhere and she'll bring it up, so.
Yeah.
I'll be expecting that.
Okay. All right.
Thanks. It's good to know.
Like I said, I started going back. These are the notes from each of our meetings.
Oh,
This
my
one,
goodness.
this one was the one where they printed out all the questions she had and all their responses.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it sounds like Trish.
Yeah.
I get along with her fine, but
I do too.
it just, you just have to know how to deal with personalities sometimes, and
Yeah,
so.
it's true.
Okay. Appreciate the update. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, appreciate it. Okay, well, that was the last agenda item for this meeting. I don't have anything else. It's been kind of a ebb and flow type of week, so.
Well, I would make a motion to adjourn the May 30th meeting with the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the May 30th meeting of the Riley County